Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lupe, and on today's episode, we are going to be reviewing a new costume. So you might be asking, why do you have a Bloom costume on and you have your Bloom Charmix costume and you've worn both of these costumes before? So what are you talking about? A new costume? What do you mean? Super excited that the official Winx Club page has collabed with a costume manufacturer. That is right, you can now buy manufactured Winx Club cosplays. Now, I've been making my own Winx Club cosplays since 2018, and I've made quite a few. But when the opportunity arose to try purchasing one, I thought, well, why not? Let's compare. So this is my original Charmix costume that I made in 2018. And it was the first costume that I ever sewed from scratch, so it is rough. It is rough. However, I really still wanted to compare kind of the quality of a purchased costume. I made quite a few pairs of wings, and I'm very, very particular about my wings. I do not like straps that are visible if I can help it, and I'm really, really particular about the type of wire that's used in these. I found out about this company actually through my friend Colleen Cosplay, Winx Club cosplayer, and we have been talking about Winx Club cosplays for years now. She recently reviewed 2 of the costumes from this manufacturer, so I will link her video below. She is one of my besties, and I definitely think you should follow her and check her out. So actually, they carry all 6 of the main girls in the original Charmix costumes, these ones. And it's very, very exciting to see representation of all of the girls, because when I've seen the very rare manufactured Winx Club cosplays before, I mostly see like Bloom, Stella, maybe Flora. I have not seen all 6, and I'm very excited that these costumes are becoming more popular and more accessible to folks. Because for many years now, we Winx Club cosplayers have had to make all of our costumes from scratch, all of our wings from scratch, and there's really not a whole lot of tutorials out there for how to make fairy wings that are, of this type. Something that's pretty unique about the way that I think that Winx Club cosplayers make their wings is that instead of going the route of like a cellophane wing like you might see at the Ren Fair, because the Winx Club animation style is really unique, I feel like we really have to figure out how to do like the outlines and the different colors and things like that. So I'm excited to try a pair of pre-made wings. So this is the costume, and I'm super excited. So this is an official Winx Club collab with this brand, which is Micotaku. I think that's how you pronounce it. I will link their store below. So I actually purchased this on Amazon, on the official Winx Club page on Amazon. But the brand has their own website. The Amazon store does not have all of the costumes. I think it has like 3 or 4 of them. But the actual store of this brand has all 6 of the main girls plus Dark Bloom. So if you wanted to get any of the ones that aren't on Amazon, you'll have to go through the store. I believe Colleen talks about the shipping and the time that she waited for her costumes to come in, because she ordered straight from the manufacturer's website. I ordered from Amazon, and I was actually able to get this Prime in 2 days. So I'm excited to try this particular brand, because based on Colleen's reviews and looking at the website and looking at their socials, I'm definitely feeling like this is going to be decent quality. And again, I'm really interested in seeing how the wings are, especially because they're folded up in here. And when it comes to making or buying your costumes, both are totally valid. I tend to make a lot of my costumes, but I have bought quite a few. I have not bought a lot of costumes brand new. If I buy costumes, most of the time I buy them secondhand. I actually have a video from last year of a Hu Tao cosplay that I bought, so you can go and watch that. And I also have another video coming up of a Mew Zakuro cosplay from Tokyo Mew Mew that I recently purchased. I tend to make a lot of my own costumes just because I find that manufactured costumes can be a little pricey and they don't always fit me 100% right, versus if I make my own costume, I can make it to my measurements and make it to my comfort. I also have some control over how much the costume is going to cost in terms of how I'm sourcing my materials, versus a bought costume is just going to cost whatever the price is. And sometimes that ends up being a lot less expensive than if I made it myself. Another reason I tend to make a lot of my costumes is because these costumes that I want to wear are not available. Now, take this for example, in 2018, I knew of like 2 other Winx Club cosplayers in the United States. Now there's a bunch of them, and I think that's absolutely awesome, and that's why some of these manufacturers have started to make these costumes, because there's a higher demand. But back then, if I wanted to wear this, I had to make it myself. And that's how it is for a lot of my costumes. But when I find a costume that I could purchase that's readily available, especially if it is a secondhand costume, I will almost always purchase that costume versus making it. That way I can save some time and spend my time actually making the costumes that I have to make. So like I said, I purchased this through the Amazon store, and I did get the biggest size, which was an extra large. And that was another reason I wanted to try this out, because when I was looking at the advertisements and looking at the Instagram posts from the company, I was not seeing anybody that appeared to be closer to my size. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of try it on as somebody who would have to buy the biggest size. I believe the biggest size was an extra large, which is not super inclusive in my opinion, but based on their sizing chart, that should fit me, but we're gonna test that today. Okay, so first of all, okay, I think I'm pulling out the top. Okay, so let's look at the top to start. Okay, so it looks like it has a little gem on it. I'm just gonna take this paper off. So first of all, packaging, I'm happy that they actually covered this gem with a little bit of tissue paper. That way this doesn't rub against anything or catch on anything, and it just keeps it looking nice and shiny. So one thing I'm noticing right away is the fabric. It is like I think it's called Lurex, Lurex. It is got a texture to it. The inside is smooth, but the outside of Lurex is definitely got a texture to it. Basically, from how I understand, there are metallic threads actually sewn into the costume, versus there being glitter or it being like a holographic print like this. Also, it's pretty stretchy. That was one thing that I heard on Colleen's review. So I thought even if this ends up being a little small, at least there's some room with the stretch. Now, it does have an official Winx Club rainbow brand tag on it. So that's nice. And the tag up on the neck also has the official Winx Club logo. So that was one thing that was really interesting to me about these costumes, is that since they're licensed by the official Winx Club brand, I was even more excited to try them, knowing that these were approved and designed by the actual people that make the outfits. One other thing about this that I am noticing is that it is kind of sheer. I don't know if it's going to translate on camera or not, but it's pretty sheer. It is not lined. My top is lined. Again, it's not done the best, but I did line mine. I definitely wish that they had lined it, although it would probably take away a little bit of the stretch. But for $65 for a top and a skirt, I kind of feel like I wish that it was lined. The gem is sewn on, it's not just glued on, so that is nice. That is a little bit nicer quality. I am noticing some of these threads are already pulling on here. That's the only other thing about these metallic threads, is that they tend to kind of shed like that. So, but hey, so, okay, so these are the undershorts. So these definitely look a little short, and one thing that I saw some people asking about on Colleen's video was whether or not, if you got a bigger sized costume, if they would add some extra fabric places that maybe we need it. Just looking at this, I don't think so. I think these are going to be really short. Okay, so let's see. This must be the skirt. Okay, so this skirt is definitely an accurate length. It's definitely a lot shorter than my skirt is. But anyway, again, it's pretty stretchy, so that's a good thing. Yeah, again, we have the Winx Club official tag on here, so we will see how short this ends up being. Okay, so this is the little crown that goes here. I'm a little boggled by the way that the clip is. I'll get closer to the camera. Okay, so this is the little crown. It's a little strange how it's on here, but I guess so that it can like slide in on your wig nicely. This is the one that I made. This is just craft foam and the same kind of little comb thingy. Mine kind of just sticks in weird, and the size difference is pretty noticeable. Although I believe that the crowns that she wears in the Canon versus the Dark Bloom costume, I think they are a different size. So I do like that it is sparkly and everything, so I'm excited to try this. And then I think the last thing before the wings is the arm socks. So these are actually really nice. So again, I'll have to look at the shape to see which way these are supposed to go, but I'm pretty sure they're supposed to go like this way. And I think it's pretty nice that they really did make this very accurate to the actual design. I'm most excited about the wings. I'm a little bit nervous about how they are bent. Mine are made out of 12 gauge steel wire and they can bend a little bit, but they are really made to last. If I'm in a crowded convention center, I have no problems. If people are bumping into these, they are totally fine. Okay, we have them open. So first thing I'm noticing, and I was already aware of this, they do have straps, but we'll get to that. So I need to bend these. Oh, okay. So I don't think this is quite as sturdy as these are, but it's pretty good. Like I'm having to like work pretty hard to unbend these. Okay, so this is thing one that I'm already noticing. They're pretty floppy. They might be sturdy in this part, but they are pretty floppy. Basically, each of these 4 pieces are just connected by being glued between some like felt pieces. So all of my 4 pieces come together down here and they are all tied together down here. So you can see how sturdy. I really gotta move them to get them to move. And again, like they will bend, but they are pretty sturdy. I'm a little disappointed on how floppy these are. I was really impressed at first with how nice and sturdy this part was, but this might break it for me. I am also noticing that the pattern is actually printed on here. It's printed on this this sheer fabric. I'm looking at the bias tape that they have on the edges. So I use bias tape on the edges of all my wings as well. And I'm just trying to figure out if this is stitched or if it's glued. It feels like it's stitched. I don't like to stitch mine because that takes too long, so I usually just glue mine, so that's nice. I'm nervous how they're gonna go on once I actually put these on. Okay, so I think it is time to try it on. So let's go try it on and see what happens. Okay, so I have the costume on, and let me move her out of the way. Okay, so I have the costume on, and I will say it's a little snug. Based on the measurements that were on the size chart, I definitely feel like this is a little small. Again, it is stretchy, so there's definitely a lot of room in here. It's just a little uncomfortable for me. I don't like anything to be tight on me at all, but that's just me. Again, I'm very impressed with the accuracy that they took to make sure that these were nice and accurate, which I appreciate. The top is really accurate. I made my top to come down more just for more comfort. I also like to wear my skirt up here more, but obviously that makes it a little bit shorter. And if I wear it too far down, which is more accurate, it probably wouldn't be as short, but also I don't think it would fit. It's pretty tight. Another thing, the wings are okay. But I wouldn't have done it that way. I'm pretty particular about how I make my wings, so I definitely would have made them to all come to one piece, that they're not just 4 pieces together with a felt piece, because they're very floppy. If I run into somebody at a convention, these are flip-flopping around and they're going to get pushed back and tied behind my back. I don't want that. Another thing is these straps have a lot of give to them. I will give them that. I was worried that these were going to be tight, but it's still pretty tight on me, like it's uncomfortable. So, and I don't like visible straps. So one thing I think I would do is kind of keep my hair in the way of the straps for photos. Or if I have more time, what I'd probably do is actually make a U-bar on the back of this costume, cut a hole in the back, and then feed that through, which is what I've done with some of my other wings, and that's more comfortable for me. Overall, I think $65 for an official licensed costume, I think is okay. I wish that the quality was a little better. Like, mostly I wish that this was lined. I will give them a lot of points for accuracy. This is very accurate to their tiny little outfits. I do wish that the wings had the U-bar, but I understand for packaging purposes, they probably couldn't do that. I will probably just add my own if I were to wear this to a convention and just do it my way. So anyway, let's go do a little photo shoot.
So I wore this costume for quite a while I was doing this photo shoot, and some things that I noticed was that even though it's not lined, the fabric wasn't super itchy or scratchy, which is, I was kind of concerned about that. It is still kind of tight, and after wearing it for a little while, I was thinking that there was no way I'd be able to wear this around a convention all day. It was just too tight, but that's just me. As I had mentioned earlier, I would probably size up if I could, but again, I personally am just not comfortable with things being tight on me. It was also pretty short, as I had talked about. But you know, I think overall it photographed really well, which I was really happy about. That color with the metallic threads through it, it did photograph really well, which is nice. As I had mentioned quite a few times, I was pretty skeptical on the wings, and I definitely felt like I really had to like make sure my back was straight while I was wearing them, or else they were flopping forward, especially in the photo where I'm sitting on the ground. For sure, I felt like I had to like lean backwards almost to make sure that the wings weren't looking crumpled up or anything. So again, if I was gonna wear this to convention, I would definitely add the U-bar. I would probably add some more structure around just to make sure that they're not gonna flop around. But overall, I did really like the costume. I think it looks really good. I just think it would need probably just some more alterations for me to feel comfortable wearing it. I definitely think that if you can't sew, or you know, you want to just purchase a costume, I think that these are really good but as someone who makes a lot of their own costumes, I definitely probably would stick to making my own costumes of these in particular, especially that this is the biggest size that they offer and it was still pretty snug on me. But I think, like I said, I think this is a really good option, and I'm really happy that these are available widely and that, you know, anybody can cosplay Winx Club now. So anyway, that is my thoughts on this, and we'll see you next time.